The Washington Post, 11th of August 2022, Chinese surveillance ship near Sri Lanka's busy Hambantota port caused a diplomatic crisis. China constructed the debt-trapped Hambantota port to deploy one of its aircraft carrier fleets in Sri Lanka. According to reports, the Chinese Navy espionage ship is unarmed. As it spied on India, it is likely cruising someplace in the Indian Ocean. However, a 730-foot-long Chinese satellite tracking ship has been the focus of escalating tensions over the past week. It has come to represent the growing geopolitical conflict between China, the United States, and India over Sri Lanka. The Yuan Wang 5 has been traveling from China to Hambantota port on Sri Lanka's southern point since July after authorities there granted permission for a stopover for replenishment. However, officials from India and the United States have pressured the Sri Lankan government to revoke access to the port, angering their Chinese counterparts. Caught between two positions, Sri Lanka's foreign ministry said in a statement on Monday that it formally requested that China postpone the visit while also adding that it wished to underscore the lasting friendship and great relations between Sri Lanka and China. Although the arrival of a Chinese Navy ship at Hambantota is not militarily significant, officials from India and the United States say it would be seen as Sri Lanka favoring China, a large creditor. India, which views South Asia as its traditional sphere of influence and seeks to counteract China's expanding position, offered the island $4 billion in loans to buy emergency gasoline when Sri Lanka's economy fell into freefall this year. The port's history is another factor. After Sri Lanka struggled to pay back its loans, China, which funded and built this trap for Sri Lanka in 2012, took possession of the facility on a 99-year lease in 2017. This week, China accused India directly of gross involvement in its internal affairs and disregarded its claims that the Yuan Wang 5 sensors could be used to spy on India. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Wang Wenbin told reporters in Beijing that it was unacceptable for a third party to exert pressure on debt-trapped Sri Lanka over security issues. According to American analysts, the People's Liberation Army would gain a footing in a strategic area adjacent to vital maritime lanes and the Persian Gulf if China were to base military boats out of Hambantota, which it has not done so far. According to White, Washington and New Delhi have recently increased their military cooperation in the Indian Ocean to confront China. The United States. A Navy cargo ship received repairs in a shipyard close to Chennai, a southern Indian city close to Sri Lanka. India had never before permitted the U.S. The Pentagon has been requesting for years for Navy ships to dock for repairs. This week, while the Yuan Wang 5 traveled across the Indian Ocean, curiosity about the port visit increased, and both Chinese and Indian media were flooded with a pep talk. After the Indian Foreign Ministry issued a harsh statement about monitoring any conduct that may jeopardize Indian national security, newspapers blared warnings about the vessel's surveillance capabilities. The former commander of the Indian Navy, retired Admiral Arun Prakash, suggested lowering the temperature. He claimed that a conflict between India and China favored neither nation, including Sri Lanka. When Sri Lanka struggles with Chinese debt, he remarked, "We need to respect their autonomy. It is a sovereign nation with authority to accept any ship. There isn't yet a Monroe Doctrine in the area." Building the Hambantota bridge between India and Sri Lanka will enable Sri Lanka to prosper and become a part of India's growth story without being subject to Chinese rule.